we've got a crisis mo Botswana ya bokatsi ya ditagi. We've heard of
What exactly is this cat?
it's
Because I've heard someone in a funeral bana ke ba banganga tletse di katse ba di tshwere ka megatla. Dramatizing it. They're just hanging on to the cats. I did Selena la cats. And I thought that was very funny, but very, very painful to think about it. If it's a pandemic now, is it? This is Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. We enthuse, we energize, we inspire, and we empower entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs of all stripes in BW and beyond. Welcome, Dumelang, to another episode of Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. It's also always a privilege, guys, to come to you and give you another piece of life-changing business education. I have a doctor in the studio. You'll meet him momentarily. But before I go ahead, it's called Momp Nuggets of Grit. I share my life from the cattle post to the boardroom, as it were, and the ups and downs of my life. It's only 350 pula. I share my investment philosophy. You can learn a lot from it. So go grab it from exclusive books or come here at Mogobe Plaza. We'll give it to you. Help me make it a bestseller. We're just on the verge of reaching the mark to make it a bestseller. Having said all that, can I ask you to strike the subscribe button and the notification bell? Now we turn to our guest. Can you give them your full names?
Thank you for having me. Kibido agote Dr Thuto Victor. So I'm a medical doctor by training. I did my medical training in the Caribbean, St. George's University. I came back home in 2016, and that's when I began my journey as a medical doctor in Botswana. I've worked in various places, paying back the dues sponsored local government. And then after I paid the dues, I decided to explore the private space. I've worked as a lecturer with DDT College of Medicine. I've worked in the private space labor Bamed Rescue International as the doctor there. And then also I've worked in the corporate space, Kele, and occupational doctor. That led me to go and further my studies at University of Cape Town, where I did a postgraduate diploma in occupational health. So not only do I treat your standard by aches and illnesses, but also I'm qualified to look into how the workplace contributes to Botsogo and advise industries on how to maintain people's health and prevent illnesses. I have a passion for lifestyle medicine. We'll get into that, I think, during the course of the interview.
Yeah, on this point, what drove you to deciding to be a doctor?
I'm fortunate to say I was what one could call gifted Cologne. So I tended to grasp things easier and then I performed well. So I remember vividly when the time came, refill that form AUB, can my parents. We had two options on the table. There was finance and then there was medicine. But because Koha so we have history, we have some of these conditions running in the family. Then I thought, why not Kidire medicine? And funny enough, that is what I think helped me got the spot, because that's what I discussed in my motivation letter, Access Apply School of Medicine. And as they say, the rest is history.
Yeah. And your current area of focus, Kidi, NCD and lifestyle diseases or lifestyle medicine. Would you care to describe those things? Non-communicable diseases, NCDs.
If you look at the history of medicine, back in the earlier days, we always had matata with infections, both TB, both HIV, AIDS. These were the things which were dominating the talk ya bongaka, and which were causing trouble, causing loss of life. But then medicine evolved and we got a hang of those conditions. Antibiotics may improve. Now we find ourselves, the landscape has changed. Infectious diseases are no longer a burden as it may. You'd realize what if I have a hypertension, that hypertension that's why it's non-communicable. It's not spread from one person to the other. That's where that phrase is coming from. There are others like diabetes, cancers, and then mental health conditions. This is a large basket of conditions. An individual will develop them, but won't necessarily pass them to the next person through contact. Rather, they might predispose their descendants or chances that they develop through genes.
Through genes or just through offering food in the kitchen table that causes problems?
Many ways. There's this phrase I like to say to my clients: diseases run in families because lifestyle habits run in families as well. So ga ile gore le godile kwa lapeng e le gore le tlwaetse gore go tsengwa thaba ya bogobe mo plating. That's the nature and what we were used to. It's going to stick with me, and I'm always going to say, nya monna wa tsholela na me mahura o tsholela bogobe bo bontsi. So you see, I was conditioned during childhood to learn those negative eating habits. They stick with me. But we do know there's a genetic linkage to some of these diseases. What that means,
but some people argue, and I've come across this a lot on YouTube, or this thing is just a cop out, or it's genes. It's actually lifestyle, it's behavior. It's just that you copy and paste based on the behavior of your parents.
It's multifactorial. Say there's this question, nature, meaning no, the genes. Is it our nature or or nature? Nature meaning what you are exposed to.
The way you've been brought up, nurtured, literally, yeah.
But you find there's a intersection point between the two. A simple example, we know with some cancers, they seem to cluster around certain families. That's why we as doctors always ask for a history background, so that we can assess the risk develop a condition, and at the same time determine how much effort we give that condition, surveillance and monitoring.
There's a thing you call Hansoro Ruta a dream framework. What on earth is that, and how does it work?
Like I said, I have a passion for lifestyle medicine. As a doctor, I used to have a challenge with a group of patients by Lungore. They would come to me and say, no way, we don't want traditional medication. We don't want to take tablets. We want to deal with this thing, this condition, hypertension, whatever it might be. We want to deal with it in an alternative manner. Lifestyle, diet. And recently there's a branch of medicine has been recognized, it's accredited, it's lifestyle medicine.
Even one called neuropathy, isn't it?
Called
naturopathy, sorry.
Alternative medicine, it's a whole basket menu. So lifestyle medicine practitioners, if you buy position on a whole to say these are our core beliefs and this is how we approach healthcare. So as you are saying, Boneba 6 pillars. Say acronym I think it dreams. Say believe as medical practitioners we can.
And you are part of that.
I'm part of the Botswana Association of Lifestyle Medicine. I'm subscribed and registered, a member in good standing. And then also, I haven't accredited internationally yet, but I'm on the process of accrediting because I'm actually graduating in occupational health this year. And the next mountain I'm going to climb, accreditor for lifestyle medicine. But that does not mean I cannot begin to use the practices and principles at there. So let me just break down dreams for you. So dreams, the first letter there is D. And we are saying, if you look at the evidence, diet and nutrition plays a very big role in our health. So there are a few things you can do with your diet and nutrition.
So D for diet.
D for diet, to address your health. And then the other one, maybe we have not thought about it traditionally, is the R. R we meet the relationships. Our relationships, our connections, social connections, di kgona go affecta botsogo jwa rona le tsone. So we have an obligation to teach people how that is and le gore ba ka dira yang.
Can you give an example there quickly?
Mo tlheleng go ntse go te ko tirong go toxic. Kana that's just a breakdown of organizational culture. And then that gives undue stress to babereki, and you might end up on hypertension. So your relationships must be fostered. They must be positive working cultures. Even
whether at work, whether at church, whether at home.
Every organization even within us as individuals, how we process things can affect us negatively or positively. And then the E stands for exercise. And I think this one is a low-hanging fruit because everyone can do some form of exercise. Even if for 1 minute to be tapolosa, you've burnt some calories or exercise.
You're addicted to Netflix. Spend half the time doing this.
Your screen especially who watch soccer, because we can spend the whole weekend really let's say match back to back. So you can do that whilst walking around in your house. How many steps you've done, you'll be amazed at the amount of calories you've burnt. So we need to exercise. And then there's A talks to addiction. And in today's world, this fast-moving world where people seem to want instant gratification, instant results, we find ourselves getting emotionally attached to behaviors. We need to avoid harmful behaviors, avoid substances, avoid harmful practices. But gambling, there's a problem with the youth and Forex. They are taking all the money, putting it more Forex. They're not going to work. But true, given there are some success stories out there, but the bulk of them are harmful to themselves. Two more, already concluded. The M stands for mental health and resilience. So you need to work on your mental health. You need to have positive coping mechanisms. And then the S is the one we always neglect. Almost everyone neglects their sleep. It's not good. Our body actually, we give the body chance to recover physically. Some processes need to take place. Hormones are regulated. And this aids in positively.
Yeah, let's now break them down. Let's go deeper. One of the aspects of diet, hydration. Can you explain that? Where are we going wrong on that issue?
We are what we eat. And sadly, the world has changed. Our forefathers were eating organically based products. They were natural from the farms, from the gardens. Never such this ultra processed.
That's why they lived 100 years plus.
Exactly. Because the ultra processed fruits, this chemicals which individual E1 this individual some of them are actually known to be toxic to and harmful to human beings. And then also this food they've been engineered for monate thata mo go rona. So there are people who've got commercial interest on what we are eating. And as a medical practitioner, as a health practitioner with this and lifestyle medicine, I try to highlight to people, or look at your forefathers, or and you have one saving a day because they would be filled throughout. They were eating to live. They were not living to eat. Stress. So we've used eating from what it was meant to be. There is something else now. So we are just saying, no, look at your food basket. Look at So
hydration, the way I was asking it, it doesn't mean just liquids.
Hydration e botlhokwa le yone because we are 70% water. So nako tse dingwe ebile we tend to mistake lenyora for tlala because we are not intentional about drinking water. Re tshwantseng gore re enwe. So our body needs water for a lot of processes, and then we need to be mindful. I think I'm not certain on this one, but I'll look it up. But they advise 3 to 5 liters depending on your level of physical activity per day. So most people say, nakana metsi a na busula, metsi a ga ke rate metsi ya nyanya. We can boil our water. You can boil water while store more freezing, or you can buy metsi go di shopong bona le one. First time I never be tell or how to metsi. And then
Let me touch on this controversial one. The idea of limiting or even eliminating sugary drinks or sodas. Is it advisable to completely cut them out when we're talking sodas? Or somehow you can take a little poison, so to speak?
Remember what I was saying, to say, kana go na le batho ba ba nang le commercial interest on what we eat, therefore on what our food basket looks like. I don't even know when the first soda was invented, but what I'm certain of, God, it was not always there in Africa. It was not always there in Botswana, and people were living longer. But malatingana, sugar is known to be harmful to the body, especially too much sugar, because we have overwhelm mmele wa gago. With time, the body loses its ability to process that sugar naturally, which is what we call diabetes. You depend on medication, or yet you might even end up acid tablets. So we should have sugar in moderation. We shouldn't have it
But processed
excessive.
sugar?
Table sugar. It doesn't have any scientific benefit. Thing how to have table sugar, this is what it does to your body. Unlike salt, but salt you have to have it in moderation as well. But sugar, if you can.
So if it were up to you, you'd eliminate it completely. Which we
to
know
answer
that,
you,
yeah.
some countries have introduced a levy on sugar. And then they've actually banned sugar in schools. Because you realize the food pack it's sugary drinks, sugary beverages, sugary snacks, processed food, a lot of those things. So other countries they are steps ahead of us on a sugar levy, telling that in the long term it's going to cost more as it's NCD.
But Ronald, we want the ideal. What is the ideal? Should we eliminate sugary drinks as in sodas or not? I'm putting you in a corner.
Diplomatic, but you are pushing it.
Yeah.
But everything in moderation can be fine because this is thing and we can enjoy them once in a while. But the problem now it becomes when at every corner it's like moto that drink. We know some of these brands that say my brand function. That is where now it's become problematic and it's going to affect their health. So if we can, let's completely eliminate them. If we can't, let's do it in moderation, at intervals.
So it's the debate is between eliminating or moderating.
Eliminating would be the best outcome. But failure to which, then let's
limit them.
And intentionally cut down until they've managed to eliminate completely.
What can happen if somebody says, I don't care about this advice, this doctor who wear the tamakorone, I don't care? What is the outcome that will come? And sugary drinks 3 times a day.
Like I said, this sugar, it doesn't just vanish into thin air. Your kidneys have to process it out of the body. It gets dissolved and then it has to be transported within the body. So some substances are harmful to the blood vessels. Sukiri, cigarette smoke, and fats. Naturally, our bodies they are you'd find for over 100 years blood vessel needs. What is happening with our lifestyle? We are accelerating that process, which is results in
the aging process,
which is what we call premature death. there's inflammation go na le go tlisa ditshika botlhoko e be nna gore tshikeng ka weng e lastile 100 years e utlwa botlhoko, and then gongwe in your 50s, in your 40s, we simolana le bo heart attack, bo stroke and other complications. So it's literally a matter of life and death.
Okay, let's talk about ultra processed food or processed food. How can you tell if a food is processed, and how do you go about dealing with avoiding it, given that every supermarket is full of processed food?
This one is very easy to answer in our context because we always talk of dijo tsa Setswana. Dijo tsa Setswana naturally ha o lebella labeling ya teng o itlela go kodilwe leina hela go te korong e bo e bona ho karong ya teng ka dikgapakane tsa teng e sa silwa thata tsa sekgwa tse leng gore di sitswe thata o tla bona gona le nutritional information gore a re this substance, this much, that much. Kore ba tsere korong ele ba go imixa le menatitsa e mengwe e leng gore it will make us keep coming back for that product. And then unfortunately when they do that, when they tamper with it, di nna monate thata mo go rona di ira gore re di batla hela thata go tshwana le batho ba ba reng na ke khone go tshela ke sa je boroto because boroto flour e dubiwang ena is not boroto flour e tswang ko korong ya teng e tsero e be silwa e be tsengwa menontsane menate tsa mo teng gore re nne re batla boroto bo ha re bo gakologelwa hela mo go teng o duba boroto ka ha o santse o ja leginya go na le lofonyana gape hera
ke ra gona re tlhalosetse batho bo diphatsa ja go ira jalo this processed food le gore ways and means we can avoid the oversupply ya tsone le go leka go ditila ha ile re go khona.
Okay, at a personal level, at a family level, what you can consider to start doing, go to your local food markets. Outcry farmers we are not really supporting them that much. Let's go to these farm markets. Fresh vegetables from these farm markets. Let our meals be rich ka vegetables. Let's look for organic, natural carbohydrates. Bokorong, dinawa, your legumes. And then in that case, gare ko mabentleleng thata ra go reka mo go mo ditini kana mo go mo ditini mona ke gone mo re go bitsang re processed food because ba tsaya kana nama kana dinawa tse leng gore ke tsa tlholego e be ba di processa ba di dira sengwe gore di tle di kgone di nne le baka le lelele tsone tsena ke tsone tse leng gore di na le sukiri di na le di preservative di na le dio tse dingwe tse leng gore go tla bo gote ke trade secret ke sephiri sa the manufacturer ha ka ke a bua gore o tsentseng gape se re sa itseng gore di ama batho ya
bottom line mindful eating, natural food products, vegetables. And then just to give you an example, how ya ko ga hello ka tsenela ko tente o bofla le bella nama ya teng ya grass fed beef wa go fitlela e le ntshonyana e nna ntshonyana ka bonako but nama tse dingwe tse o tlhalang di le dikhibidu ya di kgatlisa di tshwana le tsa mo dipampiring nama ga e nne khibidu le baka le wa ira sengwe gore e kgone e kgatlise le itlho le baka le nya ke ra hela se a ke re ya tshwantse preserve gore e nne yalo e kgatlise bo bacon ba rona gore we rwele ba be go galola mathe le khibidu yalo e se dakenyana presentation ke sengwe le sengwe mo ba go e bingse but ha go dirile sep ha ntse
e bile go e diphatsa
yeah positive relationships we keep going back to this one. What are you doing as doctors to actually enhance this positive relationships, which is the R in the dream?
Traditionally, before I met lifestyle medicine, next I the recipe. Kana ko skolong rutwa malwetsi le kalafi ya malwetse. So ne re o tla gore tlhogo ya gago ya opa be ke re e opa jang keng go iragalang ke le ka go bona gore ke tlhogo e opisiwang keng ke a mohutama e gore ke bone gore a ke go ha paracetamol kana brufen kana diclofenac e be ke go neela ke re tsa o e go nwa ke go bolela gore o nwa yang e be ke kgaogana le wena yaanong malatsi a lifestyle medicine ya re ke go botse gore tlhogo e opisiwa keng go iragala e mo botshelong ba gago a ke botsalano kwa lapeng a gona le stress gore malatsing a na re bantsi ditlamelo tsa botsogo providers ba bantsi ga e le gore o tlhoka gore ke go ise for counseling there is a change e tona e kwa lapeng ko tirong e leng gore you are dealing with it, let me take you to counseling. Ba na le toolbox e leng gore ba ka e bula e be ba bereka le wena ba go ruta gore o ka manage yang those changes.
And you say your social circle is your health mirror. Can you break that down? Because I've heard you say that.
So we need to move away from these habits, and then so you can move away from these habits. We interact le batho ba ileng gore ba di praise, ba di rata, ba di halaletsa. O tshwanetse o batle ba like-minded people. Just to share a personal experience. I used to struggle with alcohol. Ne re hala go nna Friday nako tsena e be kutlwa moriri wa me wa emela go nna le mogopolo mongwe hela gore e chaile batle nngwe helanyana o igabole o itse di hats. And then but I ended up overcoming that.
How did you do that?
No go se motlo, especially the first few days, 2 weeks. But I was intentional. I took a deliberate action. Alcohol, I serve purpose. I know what already I need to do something about it. So it's one of the risk factors. Now it's a risk factor and then my scorecard, Dr. Vic, you need to improve. How can go on now? 1, 2, 3, 4. So if it gets I'm going to be a patient to myself, if I address like alcohol. And then my friends go to me get have dumele. Yeah, o sure no mana. O ka tlogela bujalo ra go December and o tsile go. And then I've stuck with it. I think today ke ka tswa ke approach about day 150 or so. But
congratulations.
Thank you, sir. But along the way, the conversations I was having with my friends, didn't the hell like change? Well done. How are you doing? This is amazing. Keep it up. So you see what initially I was in a cycle in what the and then I changed the environment to go to a circulating. Well done for what you are doing. Keep it up. Keep going. I was doing the same thing, but the environment
had changed. Do you actually
get
rid of your quote-unquote toxic influences?
They get rid of themselves. They get rid of themselves. I get a we are saying lifestyle medicine is the way. And then we don't impose this on anyone. We will all have our realization and revelation kana ko ya rona. But by lengore ba ready ba bua conversation I think kana ko you gravitate to them naturally. You make new friends. You start to hang out in different places in different ways.
To youngsters, it's always a challenge. How do I disengage? This person has been my friend the last 10 years. And we've done so much together. In some cases, it's your partner at work, and so on. How do you disengage yourself? How do you go about detoxifying your life, so to speak?
Okay. So, to be honest, Mr. Mogobe, because Len and I didn't really need to drop any friends. What happens, I was fortunate I had real friends. Because my friends, I keep telling them my story. Because I had said it. But then there was a day when they realized, oh, Dr. Vic is actually serious. So it's the same friends, but then we changed the conversation and the attitude. So fortunately, for me, I found myself having people who bought into the idea. But they are no and they are refusing to buy into the idea. Then do this, do that, do this. Why positive relationships? Because you've had enough go. Because to be honest, alcohol is not bad entirely, because re le ba mongaka ra re o tshwanetse o e nwe ka selekanyo se se rileng. Ga e tshwane le motsoko where we say we don't condone it at all, ka gore one is actually harmful and causes inflammation e etsisang malwetse. Alcohol yone ra re 6-pack nyana mo bekeng, mme o e phatlaladitse gongwe 2 ka Friday, o tlodisa Saturday, o botsa 2 ka Sunday. 4 it's enough, emela beketla.
But people want to feel tipsy. They want to feel. Some want to get sloshed. They want to be finished.
That's the problem. At what cost? At what cost? That one we know where you will inflame your body, and that's where when premature death, we start to talk about it. Or remember na go ye kuchani sebete sa tsama dipilo di a tsama pelo ya lwala gonna bo BP go ngo bo wa ntse walk.
This habit of people turning Fridays into drinking nights, I'm curious how it started, number one. Number two, how do we change the mindset to stop it?
How it started, it's anyone's guess. But I've heard a story where in some industries, especially around the Industrial Revolution, apparently Bahiri dira drinking as a form of cool down for Babirik.
Recreation.
So they would provide it on a Friday. And
team building as well.
Exactly. And then I don't endorse it if that is truth, because now they got hooked onto it. They evolve and something else. So this idea where we need to cool off, let down. But
no, I think I could comment there that over the years as Lerumo Mogobe, legal practitioners as Mogobe Incorporated, we've often assembled on Fridays, a team building, a way of making contacts, and people drink whatever they want. There will be a few who don't drink at all, but there's a big majority which drinks. So maybe you are here to advise me to stop doing that.
I can challenge you to look for alternative forms of team building. I think which will go nicely into Kanyarona exercise. There are so many options available, particularly in peri-urban areas still where you can take up for exercise. You'd find where maybe on that Friday afternoon there's a bill anywhere from 100 to 200 per individual. You would actually spend much less if on a Friday you'd go to an outdoor gym, to a tennis court area, a football thing. It's the same thing. You sweat a little bit. The results are different. And then people don't get sloshed. But the camaraderie, the competition, the want to win thing will still be there. So maybe this Friday, let's consider what activity is available for a large group around Gaborone. And please, if you do it, please share with the audience. So we stream, we document.
Encourage.
Hey, actually, as an occupational health doctor, I would strongly advise for that, because it will build a new team culture in the workplace. It will make people so you are valuing them, because this is an investment towards their health, and it will build bonds within the organization. So it might be the biggest thing you ever do in terms of human resource wise investment.
That's very interesting. That's very, very interesting. Now, speaking on the subject, exercise, we know about 10,000 steps. I read these 10,000 steps started go Japan. They popularized it and became like standard. Give us the facts and figures around 10,000 steps, and tell the viewer how did you end up being the proponent of 10,000 steps?
So, World Health Organization is the utmost authority on all things health. And then they've got a division that looks into exercise.
Not according to Donald Trump, who has just quit.
He would argue anyways, but me agree what they put out up until he's assigned those executive orders. The CDC, the FDA, they were contributing to it. At least that much we
They are
know.
the ones who are contributing, the Americans, the most.
So with the exercise, they are saying we need to be mindful of the physical activity that we are doing, especially that our homes, towns, and cities are turning into concrete study jungle. We are losing space to be active. So they challenge everyone. They say you should do 30 minutes to an hour of physical activity. And they're saying this should be an add-on. It's saying, which you are doing as a routine. Exercise should be an additional physical work you add on to your routine. So about 30 minutes to an hour in a day. And then look at this. The nice thing, Barry, let it be for 3 to 5 days in a week. Because they are incorporating kanya rest, and then they're also saying mehela at the same time you need to sweat a little bit. Because if you don't sweat a little bit, the kanya hore your body it breaks down. Le koloi ko lapeng hela utlo go toko go dumisa koloi yele o ntse o dikologa botla o e pheka gape. An engine has to always be working. Ga nna hela o tla o dumisa after a while so our bodies want us to actually always be active. And there's a dose.
Americans have a saying, use it or lose it.
Exactly. World Health Organization have come up with. So I think 10,000 steps, depending on your physical condition. Others can do it in an hour. Others can do it in 2 hours. I think an average person does it in an hour and a half. The nice thing at 10,000 steps is that you only hire 30 minutes or an hour. Because they recognize that 30 minutes or an hour, intensity is 10,000 steps. So when you come with check 10,000 steps, it's check 10,000 steps. You've done 10,000 steps. So as a doctor, remember I told you I always used to struggle about exercise. Picture a plate, half the vegetable, half it was not practical. But I can give tips as practical as I also give tips as practical as a step. So the way we've adopted it is we've created a community where I realized there are people in a similar boat who needs to be more active, who don't necessarily want to sign up and belong to a club. But also who are failing to do it. So we came and met.
They lack discipline, Kolaping?
Yes, discipline is one of them muscle. We build up until you do it. So we said, let's do a hand-holding community where you'll come in. You've never walked a day in your life, or you've got other conditions you are living with, arthritis, what may have you, very active. We'll give you your own target. We'll start you very small. How can move up for 1 minute in a day for those number of days? It's okay as long as you start. Because you have the rest of your life ahead of you, and guaranteed if you keep at it, ultimately there I say the 5K slowly. Now I like to say slowly, surely.
Yeah, slowly, surely.
For sure you are gonna do it. So that's what 10,000 steps a day is. It's a community I come up with to support my clinic. Because going into medical practice, there's this unspoken agreement there where I won't come into your life too much. Allah is intrusive. But after your prescription, our consultation, I can roll up back here my stethoscope sa me di bela hale e ka para ho tsia 10,000 steps. We go Mr. Mogobe, how is it going? I'm no exercise. Go iragalang e be re khona gore re go guide through the dreams step way pathway.
I love that. The reason I love that is that I've been working 10,000 steps now for over 10 years. And it's something that almost 10 years or so. And it's something about which I'm very, very passionate. and now it's become second nature.
Era.
And it's something that I think I really commend you, because when I met you, you're a proponent, but you're not as enthused about it. You're not as energized as you are now. So perhaps you could use this time to demonstrate, using your own experience, the tangible benefits for these 10,000 steps or similar activities.
Wow. So one need though, because I've struggled with my personal health journey, as I've said. So it's only until things were in alignment. Remember, this is a doctor who is coming from medical school, hypertension, and that's as far as we were taught. There's no nutrition course module go medical school. So that's the challenge I had personally, and I had to solve for myself. Now, once I engineered it, Kelebella dreams, I apply in my life, just from the 1st of Jan up until now, I've dropped from 130 kgs and I'm at 120 kgs.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
What's your target?
I made a pledge at a summit we had last year. It was the first of its ever kind. It was called Botsogo Jwarre. So I was with like-minded males. We were in Habitnili Pizzo. And then I was invited to talk about...
Pizzo is like an Indaba conference.
I was invited to talk about diet and exercise. Then they looked at me and said, Dr. Victor, but how much is the picture?
Yeah.
Then I told them, I'm paying Indaba 2 December this year, get lose 30 kg. My target this year is to 130. My target is to go to 99. And I've already dropped 10 kg. So I got 10 months or lose the next 20 kg.
Isn't there a thing called a body mass index? It's an hakayon.
BMI.
Yeah, BMI.
Era. Our neighbors to get the north. Go le dikoloi tsotlhe di ya ko north di laisitswe tota tse e re bona re koloi e imeditswe e tla bolaiwa e tla robia ga excel. So that's what BMI is. Koloi nngwe le nngwe e na le recommended weight load e leng gore e ka e goga. Ha o ka go tsa maofitu ba go goga le troko ho sentrela ka yone e break le down. So the same applies to us. Our body structure, our frame, le rapo la rona, there is a degree of weight e leng gore ga gakollo gore ha le rapo la gago o le mokusanyana o le kana weight ya gago e tshwanetse re be simolla go hella ka hale, because re lemogile gore ha o ka e tlatsa ya nna ntsintsintsi phetelela o tlhele go amana le go nna le malwetse yona a sa tshwalaneng in future. The only thing we say in caution ga re bua ka BMI, body mass index, ke gore ha e leng gore ha e apply teng nako tse dingwe tlhala ele ha e leng gore ke borre ba e leng gore they are doing bodybuilding ba dira na le mebele e metona, because they can still have a high BMI, me bone ba tsogile sentle ba itekanetse, because they are putting on muscle, they are putting on that meat, they are still fit and healthy. But highly Dr. Vicky ala ko lapeng ereka Friday a chaisa ba go ga stilo ba level TV shows up until Monday ya tirong abana le trailer ranyana ha go yana trailer ranyana gore ke nna ke ya khilela e tlo ntseng ya bokoa. Let me just say a disclaimer, even though ke bua ke to casual yana, I understand gore weight is one of the things people are struggling with it. And then it's not like medication and weight. But the conversation now is I'm coming with you've gained this weight over a number of years. So there is a way for you to lose it naturally through lifestyle over a number of years. All that's needed is decision, commitment, and then application, patience, dedication, and consistency. But be dedicated to be consistent and be consistently dedicated to your passion.
I find that very fascinating. Now we can move on to the issue of avoiding harmful substances, and don't just talk in terms of generalities. Give examples without mentioning anybody's names of how you how these sort of choices matter and how they affect people?
We've got a crisis mo Botswana ya bokatsi ya ditagi. We've heard of
What exactly is this cat?
it's
Because I've heard someone in a funeral are bana ke ba bangangatetse dikatse ba di tshwere ka megatla. Dramatizing it. They're just hanging on to the cats. I did Selena like cats. And I thought that was very funny, but very, very painful to think about it. If it's a pandemic now, is it?
Go na le ditagi tse re di bitsang re psychotropic psychoactive drugs. Go ditagi tseno ha o di dirisa o tla bo di bereka mo bokong ba gago di go ha monate o montsi mo nakong e khutshwane. Gongwe for example, hela, if you work hard, apply yourself 3 years, o ba go na le di reward o winner sengwe ka nna le madi a mantsi wa go itumela. But it took 3 years and a lot of work. But how tsa pilisinyana kana setagi sengwe o sunetsa hela monate o wa 3 years o utlwa gone ho ebile o tlopelegile mo go masha. So ya no gona le batho ba tshusang gore ba tla ba sa dire sepe ba nna ho hela ba nna ba o sunetsa one monate o. But se leng di phatsa ka gone ke gore re itse gore dio tse di tsenya makwa mo meleng. So it's addiction.
So this katse ke go break it down, because if it's affecting the community, re tswela kae ke eng go iragalang ka katse?
Ke mma di tagetse eleng gore re iptlhelele gore di tsene mo lehatsheng la rona. Ha ka la tloko go na le a ke re go nna go there's a trend evolution ya di tagetse eleng gore di nna teng mo setšhabeng. I remember one gentleman wa a nurse counselor antare it la similar profession ya gagwe, the things that they were dealing with mo baneng ba dikolo ne le cigarette le motokwana. And he used to think then gore ke crisis. And now he's saying, I wish I was still there. Because go nile le cigarette le motokwane ga tla cocaine ga tla heroin ya no go tsile katse gore they take substances ga te ba tsaya di betiri ba tsaya dipilisi tse dingwe ga mixwa ba le ka go dira product
What was saying?
You try to be creative. Substances they
So katse is not even consistent.
Hey, it's not even consistent.
It's random things mixed by somebody there that you don't know.
Hey, mo kargat. Mo itirela le bonyana ga go tshela spiritu patsenya paranya mo o bira le rolenyana ba go rekisa.
So it can actually kill you.
Yeah, bola. Yeah, bola tsotlhela ditagi. But then go lebega gona le no ka eleng gore di tsenya mo lahatseng, which I'm expecting gore ba sepodisi goromente ba ntse ba di lwantsha ba tla kgona go lwantwa ya teng hopefully. But now the message, now my role as a doctor is to say if you've been exposed, if you think if you are becoming addicted, hona le di service. You can go to a health facility, see any doctor. They'll refer you to psychiatrists. They'll refer you to psychologists. They will talk to you themselves, even a nurse. And then there's help out there. Hello, Rosetso addicted unna ka yone petelela gona le di rehab gape. There are facilities. If you know a family member, if you are one, seek help.
Okay. All right. So we move on to mental health in general. Is there an ideal state of health where you say to a person, this person is mentally healthy? And if so, what is that state?
Is there
in other words, what are we pushing to get? How do we achieve mental health?
I don't know if you remember these words. Kotlanya motho le motho, kotlanya motho le tikologo. We re tshela mo lehatsheng le leng gore le nna le change kgapetsa. This is ever changing. Ya no potso ke gore wena o dila yang le di changes tse di iragalang mo tikologong ya gago. A o nunuhile gore o ka itepatepanya le botshelo jwa gago le diphetogo tse di iragalang mo botshelong ba gago, gore o se ka tlelwa ke boitlhobo bo bontsintsi bo ira gore o latlhegelwe ke tshepo boitlhobo ga e be nna gongwe maikutlo a kotlometseng bo re reng depression. kgotsa o nna le letshogo le le ntsi le leng gore ga o kgone go dira sepe o batla gore o itotlelele mo ntlong ya gago hela mo re reng gongwe excessive anxiety. So o tshwanetse gore o nne balanced nyana. Is natural re batho ba nama le madi re na le maikutlo ga go nna le sengwe mo tikologong ya rona. If I announce a death to you, if we lose our jobs, bo restructuring ba bannang ba iragala bana, we can't help but be affected by them. But at the end of the day, there's a word called resilience.
Yeah.
Understand what change is part of the world we are living in. The only consistent thing mo botshelong ke gore there will always be change. Yeah, no, how we strengthen a ona le tlhaloganyo yone e nonogileng gore o ka itepatepanya le dikgwetlho tsa botshelo. Right now we are undergoing the 5th industrial revolution. Go na le AI. We anticipate gore AI is going to affect the marketplace, which means there are people out there by they might have been qualified in other professions. They will directly be affected by technology. And then batho ba ba lemoga dio tsena gore re kana gore o tshwantse gore o go ithuta di-skill tse ditšha o go ithuta di-qualification tse ditšha ka gore se neng o ntse o se diragale le gale yaanong se dirwa ke machine le tlhoko la gago mo the marketplace ga le sa tlhole le teng. So re le ba bongaka we have to recognize gore batho ba mekane le dikgwetlho tse di harologaneng tsa botshelo ko ntle kwa ebile nako tse dingwe malwetse a ga se tsa tla itshupa e le high blood gongwe ke high blood ka gore tiro e kgaotswe gongwe ke high blood ka gore sengwe se iragetseng motho ona ga nonoga mo go kalokalo go a mo ita tota gore e be go mo tsenye bolwetse jwa botsogo jwa tlhaloga.
Yeah, thank you for that information. In the interest of full disclosure, you've been my mentee in the mentorship program which you've been a part of, where really we were trying to look at things entrepreneurially, trying to make sure that we turn our vocations and our activities into a business and our passions into a business. I know for a fact that you are in the process of turning this activity into a business. Do you mind sharing with our viewers what is your strategy and what you are pitching on in this regard?
Okay, so Move for Health is...
By the way, you're a great student.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Move for Health, as we are saying, as I want to empower people with tools and information ba tshele botshelo be le gore ba na le botsogo jo bo go godimo hela thata. The idea is that we should all be in our prime fitness. Go se ga nna ope o re motlogelang ko morago ha ile gore there's a medical condition e o tshelang ka yone a re laole a nne mo taolong o fole. I've had a few people ba ile gore I've had to discontinue their treatment, their hypertension. Now their lifestyle has completely turned around and ba khona gore ba maintain the number tsa teng BP ya bone ko tlase without treatment. I've had success stories. Now my vision ke gore in this community we've got individuals ba eleng gore they are ordinary, but all of them they've got potential and they can do extraordinary things. So let us work on our health, on ourselves first. Healthcare is one of the things they drain the resources
a lot.
The bill ya teng go tla re duela foreign players madi a teng a tswa ka lehatshe la Botswana. So if we are all healthy, rona ba eleng gore ga ba ise ba nne le mathata a botsogo ebe ba femela botsogo ba bone ebe re ne go lebega ekete in 10 years budget e tla bong e tlhokagala it's 50 billion, argument 6 10 billion go health because of NCDs. Ya no re dropile to 2 billion. Ra renga 8 billion yo a re mo tse ra ga mo recreational parks a ga re mo tse ra empower more counselors re tsise psychology re tsise di rehab re tse madiale ra ise go se es ka re go sna molemo wa sukiri be na crisis go te molemo wa sukiri wa hela wa ko tlase CMS report because what we want to say or
no central medical stores
no ha re sa tlhola re tlhoka insulin e keep Diabetes, insulin again, diabetes. We can eliminate it the same way, and then another target
So it's curable.
the same way we had target there 100 their HIV to say 100% of the population it is still 100% it is still more treatment 100% more treatment suppressed. Let's set targets guide the NCD through diet, relationships, exercise, avoidance, mental health, and sleep. Really target is our 15 years from now. If it was not hypertension, if it was not sukiri, a very few, 10% of the population. Let's aim for an overall budget of the GDP towards health, which should be lower than what we are currently spending.
In terms of the problem you're solving, analyzing your entrepreneurship angle, you're solving the problem of our monetary, our cash flow as a country in terms of availability, resources, and then you're also solving the problem of health. So that is the big value proposition, so to speak. Now let's take it a further to say, how do you go about it, and how do you monetize it?
Okay, health has to be free for all, and then we need to empower citizens to have ownership of their health. This thing ya gore nna ga ke rate go ka nna ga ke na nako dijo di a tura ke tsena sekolo ke dira dilo tse dintsi. These things we have to do with away with them. We need to be accountable for our health because it will be beneficial in the long run. And then how many people we see per day ko dikokaloneng tsa rona ba bo ba tswa kae, ba ba tswa ko dikgwebong ka gore ga ba tsoga, ga ba sewa ko dikgwebong go bereka mang ga gona letseno le tswa kae ga ba sewa ga gona. So it's draining the economy go tlhoka go tsoga sentle. So if we were healthy, we can take Botswana Highland thing, e be re isa to another level ya productivity le income, and then we will make money circulate amongst ourselves. So we have Eternity. I offer this thing for free. I coach people, I hold them accountable, I support them. But there's a few.
What are you offering for free?
The community, the education, the awareness, the group
access to the group,
the platform we report daily. On a daily basis, I get notification from participants to say, "Kirle 10,000, kirle 10,000, kirle 10,000." Now on a personal basis, I'll decide, Lord, I'll do 10,000 steps before breakfast. And then I won't eat my breakfast up until at least after 10 a.m. I want to give the body to use the resources. When I wake up, I drink at least 2 glasses full of water and I'll get filled. And then since I started this life, because I wake early, I sleep early. 9, 10, then I sleep and rest. But I have 4 cats. So I think we need to unpack this secret to the people. There are so many platforms out there on Facebook. What's your age? What's your height? What's your weight? They do 5 pounds. So we need to
for
move.
What?
For advice, education, enjoying exercise. People, sadly, a lot of people want to monetize, want to profit from healthcare. But now my belief is that if we make healthcare accessible to Moelemong and then we fight this problem here, the NCD, if people begin to eat from the local market, the local corner, it's going to be not only benefit their health, it will benefit the farmer. The government will charge the farmer tax, money will get, the farmer will produce more, we'll all. So we need to revolutionize how we're doing and empower the country. So how they support me, how they can support Move for Health. As individuals, sign on to the platform. Our details, the more paging, if it's about the Move for Health. What you do, you send a message.
You mean your Facebook page?
A Facebook page. You send a message, a WhatsApp message or a join. The number ke +267, that's the code, and the number ke 78-737-000. We are using AI. The page will take care of you, and then it will give you all the instructions you need to do to know to join. You join into the platform, you join into the community, you start to walk your steps, you develop other positive habits.
Is there a limit to how many people can join, or it's limitless?
Currently, there is no limit, but we see the demand is going up and it's causing us trouble. Process crash. Very soon, we might need to limit it, maybe I think 200 participants per month. But I'm saying, when I held my
100 new participants.
no, actively doing the challenge for that month.
Yeah.
Now my burning desire, it will be unlimitless, and we are working on solutions for that. So what happens, Mr. Mogobe, corporations can come on board and sponsor us. What we do since November, we give away prizes to the members by 10,000 steps. There was a participant, we awarded a prize to 1 November, a 1,000 pula through the clinic, Eternity Medical Practice. And that 1,000 pula, she went and donated it to a charity of her choice. And we believe is going to impact someone's life because of them donating to a charity of their life. However, we need that 1,000 pool. It was through consistency, 10,000. We did the same in December. There was a member who impressed even myself. They did 10,000 steps through the 31 days of December. And then we awarded them $1,000. Kat January and Hadikolo Dibula, she went and picked 2 peoples, bought a full set of uniform for a lady. But the
uniform is in some of the merchandise you are selling. Is that some of the merchandise you are selling or uniform?
No. Eternity Medical Practice is supporting Move for Health.
Yeah.
So we paid out 1,000.
I know, but you said they bought a uniform.
Uniform helako skolo.
Okay.
They went into the
just
community.
To support the community, yes.
They talked to a guardians and counseling teacher was skolo, and she identified 2 students. A full set of uniform.
So it's community outreach. It's giving back.
We did draw January. There is a gentleman we picked who did well January. In his own time, his own space, he was able to do the steps on a monthly, consistent way. We gave him $1,000. We told him we need 1,000 for a charity. He wants to donate it to the children's home Kohamudub. So we are finalizing the logistics for it. That 1,000 people. So this one is a call to action to the corporate world to say, we always talk about ESG, we always talk about social responsibility, but at Move for Health, we want to encourage people to walk because we want to address the NCD problem. But then when you sponsor it, we don't even have to touch the money. It doesn't even need to get into our accounts. Rona, we will give you the best performance by Rona from the challenge. And when you will sponsor whatever you can to your capacity, more community. And then let the whole nation, we are looking for 2 million people, by dashboarding Rona, daily, data daily. So that we can slash the national health budget. I'll put myself out of a job if it works out.
All right. This sounds very, very exciting. You also touched on this in a different context. You do also have merchandise. How can people get hold of those 10,000 steps T-shirts and merchandise?
Because we need staff. We are looking for a data analyst. We are looking into moving into producing content because it started off as an idea. Information. Now it's what it is.
It's a movement.
Close to 100 very soon. We'll be adding our 100th member, more grouping, and it's going to go even beyond that. We've developed merchandise. We've got T-shirts. We can customize it. We'll be doing a catalog very soon. Every product they are on a keepers. Keepers are on for 300 pula. And then how skipper 50 pula of it, we are going to put it towards the charity donation money. That's what we are intending to do. So by buying the T-shirt, you are even sponsoring the charity. You can get hold of them by contacting the same number. Place an order at the same number, 787377000. That's our official WhatsApp line. We are looking into fixing all the platforms, putting a catalog. Everything should be online. The more WhatsApp, we are very responsive. When I Move for Health, go Facebook. When I Move for Health, go TikTok. We are very responsive in all of our accounts.
Okay. Before we wrap up, you say sleep is the most overlooked aspect of this? Why?
We did a topic yesterday at University of Cape Town. And they were saying, actually, nowadays, you can see the Earth from out of space because of this electrification near the planet. Whereas a few years back, when it was dark, you couldn't see parts of the Earth.
Well, you mean a few decades back?
Before mutlakaso o nna gongwe le gongwe. So our body's natural cycle e batla le hihile o ebe re robala ebe go na le hormone ngwana gate melatonin ya affecta di hormone melatonin ya affecta di hormone tse dingwe tsa maikutlo bo dopamine bo serotonin. So how now tantse hela go nna o lebile lesedi la di phone lesedi la mo bedroom o sko robala enough hours, your body becomes out of sync. Your body's hormone levels, the similar are dysregulated. And this is where some of the mental health conditions would come out from.
What's the ideal period of sleep? And does it have to be continuous? Because some of us, sometimes it's interrupted by, somehow we don't know what's interrupting it. And then an hour you get busy, and then you sleep.
Call lifestyle medicine, restorative sleep. Boroko jo e leng gore bo tla go lapolosa. So that's important because it looks different for different people. You'd find if you can get a good 6 hours, how to fresh, how lunch. So we are taking restorative sleep. So I think
but those who say napping at lunch is also good. There are doctors who argue that companies should provide sleep rooms or rest rooms.
So, busiru, minimum 6 hours. There or thereabout, I think anywhere from 5 to 8 hours, as long as they wrote to how before Agorobala, put away the phones, the distractions, mimic the natural night condition as best as you can. Yes, there's an evidence or body of evidence to say people from these nations, Babatsela and Lebaka, blue nations, Japan, I think the natural Americans, Lebona ba advice ya gore ba go lemogile gore ne ba itapolosa motshegare go tsa go tsa coffee tsa go fone panyana ha o tsoga o lapologetse gape it's important to nap. Yes sir.
Dr. Vic, ultimately there's an entrepreneurship show and you are a medical doctor. What is the future of medicine and what can a young person watching this expect? What I want to speak to money-making potential or the income-generating potential of medicine. Can you become a multi-millionaire from medicine? I want you to address that. And then how the viewer can position themselves if they're interested in medicine to be successful monetarily.
Okay. So it's the wild west out there because of AI, as I've already alluded to. Currently, some disciplines deep challenge hela thata because of AI. Things like radiologists. These are the guys normally banning X-ray by bala. This is the diagnosis. Through machine learning and technology, people are moving towards as the scanners and the report as same. So one has to really think long and hard about which part of medicine they're going to go into. Already on robotics to do minimally invasive surgeries. So bogologolo neuro rupture la appendix gongwe be go tsa about 2 hours 3 hours o bulwa the whole abdomen ra go appendix e be re go tswala ba go tsa lebaka go hola. Nowadays a machine can do it in under half an hour. E go heditse sengwe le sengwe e tswetse.
Machine can operate.
It's machine learning, robotics. The surgeon now is using
probing.
The probe. Surgeon who there is the control, operator. But with machine learning, the future of medicine, as we are asking, we are going into spaces still or autonomously. We can not rule it out. But luckily, the human contact element, yeah, primary medicine, disease prevention law, it carries value. If one can be a millionaire, kayone, I'm not too sure. But what I know, you will have clients. Like at Eternity Medical Practice, we know we've gotten clients say by long we are sure we are going to treat them, and we are going to treat their children and their children's children, because it's the same thing was happening. I get trained go UK. I'd see a young girl, I delivered her mother.
Yeah.
So that's what I like about medicine, because it's personalized, it's one-on-one. So we are hoping to retain our clients for lifelong in the Barona, but being a millionaire, it will take some doing. It will take
I
some
meant in US dollar terms.
it will take some doing, say. It will take some doing, but it does happen in other procedures. We know what a home surgeons, but kana mathata a rona kere, we are paid for service, and there's only so much we can do in an hour. There's a ceiling in whatever field you go for. You'll find if you were to be a dentist, an ophthalmologist, other cadres will fetch slightly more than Zedingwe, but at the end of the day, Hala, generally, being a doctor, the ceiling is very low. We are overworked and underpaid.
What about the prestige? Because in the old days, it was so prestigious. Is that still there?
If you want a job security, if you want to learn somewhere where you can grow and develop, because Boholo people used to have careers, 40-year profession, and that was enough to give me a good kitty, but we've moved away from that. We need to diversify. We need to put our eggs in many baskets. So even as doctors out there, we find ourselves pressured to diversify, let's say, because of this evolving landscape. So I would say we find as a doctor, when you come in to be a doctor, over and above anything else, be an entrepreneur first. I've got colleagues by the heart and soul in Mobungaking. I've tried to recruit them to the private space multiple times. They're saying, Vic, nights are calling for me. I love giving service to community. I don't mind receiving.
But what do you mean be an entrepreneur first?
I think this will be risky, but I'm going to put it out there. I think there's a culture. Our parents and their parents, when you were coming of age, you had a basket of professions, where I'll be a doctor, I'll be a teacher, I'll be a nurse, I'll be a police officer. But that's gone with the fourth industrial revolution. We are heading into the fifth now. Even when I interview kwa clinic in Malatsingana, I will look for a receptionist. But how a certificate is business admin, receptionist is not enough, because anyone can be there and man the desk. I want to
without any qualification.
I'm asking you, what value add do you have? Because like I'm saying, AI is there, we are leveraging on it. So we want people who will come and solve problems in the industry, people who are bringing solutions, people who come to me about Dr. Victor, Eternity Medical Practice, is positioned itself like this. When I come to the team, I'll be able to add this to your team. Days of saying, get your qualification in Pire. That is slowly, surely coming to an end. That mindset, we need to do away with it. Unfortunately, that's the reality. I think we need to develop 3, 4, 5 other skills where we can try and earn off. I know people by they've done accounts, consultancy, but their side hustle like graphics, they design things, they shoot things. So we need to be absorbed into the mainstream market.
So we need to diversify our skill set and our sources of income.
Exactly, so that we have a fighting chance more today's landscape.
Yeah.
The nice thing about it, though, is not all doom and gloom. Find a problem in your society. Go to AI, look for a solution to the problem, bring the solution to us, we'll pay you for the solution.
Yeah. You've been my student and my mentee. I'm going to throw in the deep end and ask you, how did that benefit you and why do you believe it's something of value?
There's a lot of ills tse di iragalang in our society at the moment. The parliament is divided. Babua, for example, ka GBV, they're saying we should call it a national emergency, something needs to be done. If you look closer to it, everyone is saying this is Tswana cultural system. Our ntate mogolo, rre mogolo, the family structure is gone. Bogologolo, those guys were the torchbearers, they were the mentors. Ke bone ba neng ba re guide ga re tla of age. Today's world has changed. Now, where do we look into it? Actually, let's for advice, for help, for mentorship, for people to say, no, you are doing the right thing, and how the recently. This notion thing, community, where are we going to look to for people to guide us and say, actually, how did I there's a cliff coming up. How did I know that? So the mentorship program, I enjoyed it purely because of that. Before I think I was trying, apply myself best as I could, but it felt like I was in the dark. But then when you came with the template, the manuscript to say, actually, this is how you build a car, this is how you make tea, this is how you build a business, similar. There's a phase you have to go this. It was like learning to drive a business, learning to drive a vehicle stepwise. And then I said, as much as I can with this manuscript, with this template, I'm going to work into it to become apply I'm best as I can. So I'm grateful if we had more people like you who've trailblazers by Longore, they've done it, they've tried it, they've tested it, and they can share their experiences because you did it more Botswana. You didn't do it kwa America. Kwa America, the culture, the market, the landscape is different. So we should stop consuming material ya di success stories tsa kwentle. Maloba ne go bolokiwa Dr. Chiepe, and then Duma FM ga ba bua ka life stories. Or born 1922, I think she went to Wits. Or you look at her legacy, but then she almost came from the cattle post. She never knew what her future would be. It was just dedication and passion and consistency. About that hot burning desire, or she's going to apply herself. So I'm grateful that you had the heart to say, before I leave this planet, I'm going to give a part of myself to Botswana, because I feel we are all ordinary people capable of doing extraordinary things like yourselves and other people in the industry have done. All we need to do is take a step back, take a deep breath and say, show us how. We need to be practical. Retloka hands-on to say, no, this is how it's done, this is how it's done.
This is what I did.
Hey, hopefully these organizations still where they've been tasked with developing human resource so they can steal a leaf from your page and say, this is how we develop entrepreneurs, this is how we come up with a mentorship program in a practical way. Only the module, the short course. I approach already, approach about benchmark so that Rona, because our time has gone, kind of the most valuable piece of asset can my kids, they're still at primary, they still have time. So if we set the landscape well for them, but compete their peers go China, go Germany. This thing my China are better than us. We have to do.
They've just been exposed. Yeah, they've just been exposed early. Thank you for that endorsement or that word of support. Now, what can we look forward to in the next 5 up to 2 decades forward for you as a brand and for the clinic?
Currently, I've been busy with Move for Health. We've been building it from bottom up. I think I'm at a place where I'm about to grow the team because I think it's fit enough to survive on its own. So the next chapter of my life would be going into the workplaces and seeing how I can help organizations take better care of their people. Because sadly, I feel organizations still don't recognize how crucial it is to take care of botsogo jwa batho ba bone. I think part of it is because of our legislation here, occupational health, which I think they are trying to improve. But we need to realize where we spend most of our life with tiro. So tiro must be the one at the forefront of saying promoting botsogo ba batho. We need to do away with some of the practices and habits dijo tse di jwang ko tirong o ikala o leba o bona gore mo ke solang ka hela mo ditilo tse go nniwa mo go tsone o bona gore there is no consideration for mekwatla ya batho, maintenance plan or o checka gore dipone di service tsweleng, is lighting good in that room go sena batho ba le mo furnace-eng go sena di-ventilation. So we need to value human life. We need to respect each other, and employers need to come to the party and say, we are going to take care of your welfare. Actually, personally, I believe occupational health as a legislation too is more important than it's on everyone's lips. Yeah, 4,000. Because if you take care of motor holistically in the workplace, even the cost of living ya gago ya go a ko tlase. That headache e leng gore they're always coming to see me ba re ke migraine because of the toxic work culture ya ko tirong is going to go away. So there's so many problems we can solve here, like a lifestyle medicine, positive relationships.
So really, my reading of what you're saying, the next 10 years, you're going to just really focus on lifestyle medicine and make sure that it's impactful, and obviously it has to be profitable for you as well.
Hey, I'm available. I'm ready. We're raring to go. Organizations can get hold of me. I give organizational health education promotion talks, usually in the mornings, but we can come up with a flexible schedule. My personal number is 75381649. So normally I've had about 20 organizations.
What about on WhatsApp and other social media?
I'll give them after. Normally, I've had in the past I've had about 20 organizations saying what I've got a working relationship with Lebon.
They
just invite me. I talk to the staff. We work on changing the culture, promoting a holistic health culture organization. So I think after I'm done with,
I think you should come to my firm. You should come to our companies.
We're
working on it, but having someone from outside would be more effective and more impactful.
The fastest way, if organizations are looking for a cheat code, they want to be compliant and in good standing, Airport City, there's a building the Botswana Bureau of Standards. Those standards, standards is a quality in the workplace, standards is a occupational health in the workplace. You just need to comply and get accredited to those standards. I'll give you a very good price, you are compliant. Because one of the organizations I worked at, fresh from government, was a corporation. I didn't see my supervisor. It was a new role specifically created, which the company felt they needed to fill. This was an international company. When I got there, I got an email. They go to the database, ubule this document way bale. How he hits a bala this one, how he hits a bala this one. Illegally has about the congratulations, we had your induction on orientation. Then I'm fielding report here by this time to this person by that time. So remotely, they had set themselves to run efficiently, and there was no nakoya with 3 months that I would train. Organizations need to think long term. We need to think about how is Move going to run. And this is where I can help people engineer, get the systems that occupational health and quality for run the company, and also use your services, estate planning, estate management.
More than available for that. We're more than available for that, sir. We're ready for that. Now, time for you to hit me with a question if you have one.
My question for you, Ka go na le chance ya go share my details after the question? Can I
Yes,
get the
yeah.
share pin
No, you after the question.
after the question? So I've watched the podcast. I've seen people ask you, what's your mission, what's your goal, what are you achieving, and the like. But maybe it's been asked before in one of the podcasts, but when you look back at it, because I'm sure when you started, you had an idea, but you didn't have a clue. But today, on this day, here you are sitting here. When you look back at it,
And the podcast.
no, your life.
My life.
Hey,
Okay.
when you look back at your life, what's the feeling that you have? How does it make you feel, Hela, sitting where you are?
I have a feeling of gratitude, a feeling of appreciation for what the Almighty has done in my life. And I have it's not a feeling of euphoria, but it's almost that, the stars seem to be aligning. A lot of what I've been working towards is coming together. But just like Nelson Mandela said, when you reach the top of the peak, you see that there are other peaks to be climbed. So I'm looking at the peaks that are yet to be climbed, and I know that I'm running my own race. If I compare myself to other people, it looks like I've reached the pinnacle. If I compare myself to yet more people, I'm like a dot. I almost don't exist in terms of if I do that. So I don't engage in those comparisons. I'm just coming to the realization that, look, there's a feeling of almost of euphoria, but a feeling of satisfaction and thankfulness to the Almighty that what I had set out to achieve, I've achieved. The life that I had hoped to live, I am living. I mean, look at Mogobe Plaza, for instance. It's almost like a center of excellence. We have 2 active restaurants, one of which we own, the other one is our tenant, and we use that restaurant for workshops, for seminars, for different things. We also have, we're getting into a point where we're now turning the entire building green, and we have over 60 tenants in this building alone. And when you look at the sort of deals we've been making, we were thinking to get to eventually 1,000 tenants, or 1,000 doors, as Americans say. We are moving towards that. I think we're now close to 400, and we just got a deal for 11 units this week. So I can see the pattern. Five units are being erected as we speak in Kanye. So now you see that things are falling in place in terms of growth, in terms of the way things are developing. The law firm, we've just recruited 3 new dynamic youngsters and lawyers who are very energized, who are very, very hungry. And we are revamping the law firm now. So there's that sense of look, in the context of change that is happening with the new government, there's new energy. I mean, I like it when Rahaula kept saying the new Botswana. In a speech, he kept saying the new Botswana, the new Botswana. I feel as though I belong to the new Botswana. I created the new Botswana. I'm part of the new Botswana. So to answer your question, yes, we may not have reached the levels of Dubai, but in our own way as a country, we are on a trajectory. And as an individual, I feel that things are in place. I'm happy with what's happening with my children. They are semi-autonomous, semi-independent. They are running bits of what they are doing in the enterprise. So things are falling in place. To answer your question, I'm very happy. I'm very thankful. I thank the Almighty that you can continue to give me these blessings so that in the process I can bless others, because the purpose for being blessed is to be able to bless others. It's not for you to keep the blessings to yourself. True. I hope I've answered your question.
You did say, and congratulations on an impressive resume and CV. So just expand on the going green. I heard you say you are going green.
The building is going green. We have, as you go outside, you'll see workmen busy erecting structures. The whole parking lot will be covered by solar panels, and we plan to also go to the roof. Substantial portion of it will be covered by solar panels in such a way that if we have up to 300 people for mentorship, for a seminar, for a church session service, we can actually take them up to the roof and use that. At the same time, we're cutting our bill to BPC substantially.
Right.
So and saving using renewable energy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations. So
Yeah.
you are actually ahead of the minister when he said they'll look into aggressively going into the renewable energy
We are in it.
space. So now you're already
We're
there.
doing it as we speak.
Congrats, sir.
We've spent a couple of I don't need to mention figures, but a couple of
A
millions.
sizable sum.
Yeah, we're working on it.
No, congratulations.
Okay, now look at that and leave the viewer with one final message encompassing what we've covered, sort of summarizing, and leave them with something.
Okay, so number one, if you are looking for a doctor and need a physician to look at you or look at your employees, my personal number is +267 7538 1649. And then personally, I have a Facebook page. Unfortunately, I can't receive any more friends, but you can follow me. I also personally have a TikTok page and a LinkedIn page. And then I Move for Health. This is the community where we promote physical activity, exercise, and lifestyle medicine. The number is 78-737-000. You can find us in Facebook. You can also find us in TikTok. And then Eternity Medical Practice. This is where I do my 9 to 5. The numbers for WhatsApp is 74613-023, and the landline is 397-0009. So feel free to reach to us on any of those numbers, and we'll give you any service you want. And then as a parting word, I believe we are all capable of doing amazing things. We are all capable of doing great things. I believe that maybe previously, along the way, we get sidetracked, we lose focus because we don't get the information, the knowledge we need. So let's learn to seek information. Let's develop a reading, studying culture, and let's know where to look for the information. Move for Health will be one of the places you need where you can start. And then I passionately feel that after we become extraordinary people, we need to trade within ourselves. We need to keep the pula within Botswana. So come to Eternity Medical Practice. Let's go and get services from one another. Let's support our enterprises so that we might thrive as a nation. And then lastly, our health is our greatest piece of wealth. That's the best real estate we have. Without health, there's little you can do or achieve. So let's take a introspect and see where we are as our health. I know healthcare providers, like I did previously, this is one of the areas we tend to struggle with because we are overworked and underpaid. But let's go and create time. This thing of saying I'm busy, it can be very detrimental to ourselves. So let's create time for our health. Otherwise, we're going to be forced to create time for our illnesses. And then remember the dreams pillars for lifestyle medicine. Look at your diet and nutrition. Eat mostly plant-based, whole organic foods and vegetables. Be sparing with the meat. If you have to eat your protein, you can get it from legumes. Relationships, let's look into what other people are bringing into our lives. Let's go to where we are wanted and let's foster those positive relationships. Exercise, you cannot run away from it. Whatever form of exercise you are doing at the moment, I invite you to plug in to Move for Health so that we might be part of the community. You never know who you are going to inspire with your commitment, your daily steps, and where you are going to get your own inspiration from. Let's avoid harmful substances. the phone, digital overload, technological overload. With phone, TikTok, watching TikTok, 30-second videos for about 6 hours. Let's do away with that. Let's be intentional about our relationships and being present in the moment. Mental health, let's break the stigma of going for counseling. Whenever there is a change in your life, if you are having a baby, if you are graduating, if you've lost a job, go and seek counseling. These people are professionals. They've got the skill sets and the toolbox where they can aid you cope with any situations. It won't make the problems go away, but it will make you more resilient and withstand the challenges you are facing. Lastly, sleep. If you don't make time for sleep, you are going to fall ill and you'll have to make time for seeing the doctor later on. So be careful about what you invest in. I think that's all I had to share with the people.
It's more than a lot. It's great. And let me just, it remains for me to thank you, sir, for opening up, sharing so generously. This is one of the longest podcasts we've had, and we really, really enjoyed it. And I just feel like I should not stop you. But time is not our friend. The next guest is already here. Let me thank you very much. You're a brilliant, brilliant guest.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.